Hello again guys, welcome to lesson 3 of your new topic on rivers. We are looking at how rain reaches rivers today. Okay, so we're getting straight into it because I think we're fairly used to this routine by now and how we're doing work and how we're submitting work. So down to you guys on your Word documents, PowerPoints, things like that. I think we're all in the swing of things now. Just a reminder that if you have any questions or you have any issues with the work, please do email me because I can get right back on that and help you out. Okay, so I've put the numbering the tasks back in because a few people said it got a bit confusing when I didn't number the tasks, so I've put that back in. We've got a mixture of longer and shorter tasks today. It should take about an hour for you to complete the lesson as normal, but it's just a little bit different in how we're doing things. Because this is more physical geography, as opposed to our last topic on India, which was more human geography, where we did do a little bit of physical. With the river stuff, it is a lot more physical stuff. So there's a lot of diagrams and a lot of processes that we need to think about and kind of understand. So it can be a bit complicated at times. And as I said, if you have any questions or you need to understand it a little bit better, please do email me because I can either try and explain it a bit better to you or send you some more stuff that will help you understand it. Okay, so just as a recap and jogging our memory a little bit, we've got task 1. So on Monday night and pretty much all of last week, it rained in Oxfordshire. Using what you have learnt so far, what are the 3 possible causes of the rain? Okay, so and which one do you think was the cause this time? So think back to last week, think back to all those grey, dreary days we had where it rained a lot. Think about what might have caused that rainfall and if you can explain that to me. Okay, so that's task 1. Pause me here and then press play again when you're ready to go. Okay, on to task 2. Oh, sorry, looking at learning goals first. So we're looking at how rain reaches rivers. We're going to have a look at the water cycle in a bit more detail, having a look at how water travels through that cycle in a bit more detail back to how it gets to rivers. We're going to be drawing a diagram to show how rain reaches rivers. We're going to be describing that process of how the rain reaches rivers again, and we're going to suggest what might happen during periods of heavy rain and how that might affect things, how that might change the cycle, how that might change different processes within how that rain travels back to rivers. Okay. So here's task 2. Okay, so we've got a diagram that shows how rainwater reaches a river, this diagram here. Okay, I want you all to either copy that out or draw it out or whatever you're doing, depending on what you're using. So Word document, PowerPoint or paper, either draw that figure out or copy and paste it or things like that into your new Word document. I can also put it on a Word document and attach it to ePraise because that might make it easier for copy and pasting the diagram. But I want you all to have that diagram or something very similar to that diagram if you can find it on Google Images. And I want you to label that figure 1. Okay, so that is figure 1. That's your image that we're going to be using predominantly for this lesson. And using the information on the right hand side of the screen, okay, which is loading up now, I want you to be able to fill in the gaps on that diagram. So fill in those blank labels. So read through this piece of information here, okay, and then use that information to fill out these labels here. Okay, all the words that you need for the labels are in pink, funnily enough. Okay, so all those pink words fit in there somewhere, and see if you can do that for me by reading through it. Okay, so pause me here and start task 2, and then I'll run through the answers with you once you've finished, once you press play again. Okay, so looking at the answers to the labelling exercise, and there's a little extension task down here as well if anyone wants to give it a go. Okay, so which of these labels are stores in the water cycle? Okay, think about what that might mean, think about which ones, and try and give it a guess for me. But we're going to have a look at that in the next slide anyway. So just to yourself, think about which labels might be stores, which of them might be flows. Okay, so movement through the water cycle and a store in the water cycle. What ones of those might be those things? Think about it yourself, and then I'll give you the answers on the next slide anyway, but just give it a guess, and if you get them right, I'll be very, very impressed. Okay, so answers to these labels: we've got precipitation at the top because we've got things falling from clouds, and we all know that's precipitation. We've got surface runoff, where the water runs over the surface back down to rivers or the ocean or anything. Infiltration, okay, so down through the surface, it filtrates down through soil and rocks and things like that. Through flow, which is where it flows under the surface, it flows down. Groundwater, flowing out through the ground. We all know these definitions from the last few lessons. Water table, and we've got river as well. Okay, and if you're stuck on what any of those mean, they were on the last slide as well. Okay, so you can reverse it a bit. Okay, so think about for me which of those might be stores and which ones might be flows. Okay, some of them are quite self-explanatory, like through flow is a flow because it's flowing, it's moving. But what might be a store? Where is the water staying? What might store that water? Okay, so moving to the next one. So this is just a bit of information I'm going to go through. That diagram looks very, very scary. It looks daunting, but don't worry about it. It's not too bad once you get your head around it. Okay, so just have a look at it for me for a minute. Have a look at the colours. Have a look at what each colour means and what words are next to those colours. Okay. Now, it does look very complicated, but once I read through it with you, I think it'll be okay. Okay, so there are different parts to the water cycle and they're colour coded below. So we've got input, storage, flow and output. Okay, those four there. Input's in green, storage is in blue, flow is in orange and output is in yellow. Okay, so there are different parts of the water cycle and different things on the water cycle, and that sounds very untechnical, but the different parts of the water cycle. Inputs are anything that is put into the cycle. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. If you input something, you're putting something into the cycle. Okay, so really the only thing that's ever put into this cycle is precipitation, because it falls from the clouds and it's put into this system here. So precipitation is our only input. Okay, storage is anything that stores the precipitation, so things like plants or the ground or soil, or where the water from precipitation can be held. Okay, anything like that. So things like trees and plants, they would be storage. Soil moisture, so where the water is stored in soil. Surface storage, where it's stored on the surface of the earth, that would be a store. Okay, flow is any place where the water is moving. Okay, so such as like surface runoff and groundwater flow. So anywhere that water is moving at a steady rate all the time is a flow. Okay, so through flow, surface runoff, groundwater, infiltration where it's moving down through the soil and the rocks, and percolation again when it's moving down through rocks and soil. Okay, so they're flows. Okay, and then an output is anything that takes that water away. So things like evaporation and transpiration, and rivers, anything that's carrying that water away from that system. So evaporation is taking the water out and turning it into gas. Transpiration is doing exactly the same thing, but just direct from the plants. And then rivers are carrying that water back to lakes and seas. Okay, so it's taking it out of that system. Okay, so I hope that makes a little bit of sense. If you do get stuck on that one, please do email me, because it can be quite tricky to get your head around, but I'm sure I can find some videos that might help you understand it a little bit better. If you email me, I can send those on to you. Okay, or you can have a look at it on YouTube yourself. For those of you who did the extension on the last task, did you get any of those right? Did you guess any of them right? If you did, give yourself a big tick and let me know on your work if you got them right or not. Okay, so that was just a bit of information to get us understanding that before we move on to the next task. So next task, task 3, just a quick fire question to test your knowledge. See if you were listening, see if you understood that at all. So which element of the water cycle is precipitation? So is it input, is it output, is it storage, or is it flow? Okay, which one of those is it? A, B, C, D? Just write down the letter and let me know what you think. Okay, so that's task 3. Pause here and finish that one for me. Okay, and moving on. Okay, so look back at your diagram, the one we labelled figure 1, the one of where we added the labels into it. Using your new knowledge from what I just explained and figure 1, describe how rainwater reaches rivers. Okay, so using what I've just spoke about on the last diagram and any of the information on that slide and all of your labels and anything you've just learnt, describe how that rainwater reaches rivers. We're going to have a look at an example first, because I can understand that that question might be a bit daunting, as it is a bit exam styley as well. So we're going to read through an example, then I want you to have a go at it yourself. Okay, so here's the example answer. Okay, so we've got, when it rains, the water falls to Earth's surface. Some of this rainwater just runs along the ground. This is called surface runoff. The rest soaks into the ground. This is called infiltration, as seen on figure 1. Okay, so a nice reference to figure 1 there. So you're using your diagram in your answer and referring to it. And then we've got the input straight away, when it rains, or when it precipitates, if you want to say that, that's great. The water falls to the Earth's surface, and then some of it runs along the ground and some of it soaks into the ground. Okay, so that's the first starting bit. Brilliant. And we've used some good key terms in there as well. Okay, so as it soaks through the soil, some water flows downhill under the ground to the river. This is called through flow. Okay, so just explaining what through flow is. The rest soaks right down and fills up the pores and cracks in the rock. That is now groundwater. Okay, so again, two key terms and explaining what they mean. Groundwater is always on the move as it flows slowly, and together the surface runoff, through flow and groundwater feed the river. Okay, so there are all your flows and how it gets back to your outputs, your rivers. Okay, so we've got our inputs, we've got our flows, and we've got our outputs. Okay, so you've got a good mix of how it gets back to the rivers and all the key terms in there as well. Okay, when we're answering this question, of course you can refer back to this answer, that's absolutely fine, but I don't want to see anyone copy that word for word, because that's not you answering it, that's just you copying another answer. But I think it's good to have a structure and like a base for what you could have, and to make sure that you understand how to structure that answer and what the content of it should be like. Okay, so you can refer back to this, but I don't want to see anyone copy that word for word. Okay, so task 4, using your new knowledge, so what we've just learned, and figure 1 again, describe how rainwater reaches the river. So it's your turn to answer that question now. If you need to look back at the example, you can do. Okay, so your answer must include keywords such as rainwater, surface runoff, infiltration, through flow, groundwater, and feed the river. As many of those as you can get in there, and if you can get more, then brilliant. It must be written in chronological order, so from the start to the process, and then to the end. So how it starts off, what happens in between, and how it gets back to those rivers. It must be written in full sentences. I want this to be like an exam style answer, so paragraphs and full sentences, and you must make reference to your figure 1, so your diagram from the first activity with the labels. Okay, so you must refer to figure 1. Okay, so if you want to pause me here and start answering that question, again, if you need to flick back to the last slide, that's absolutely fine, but try and answer that as best as you can. Okay, when you're finished writing that, there is a little bit of a self-assessment that I want you to do. So in red pen or in a different colour pen, or if you're doing this on Word or PowerPoint, you can do it in a different coloured font, just do a different colour. I want you to just go through that checklist below and see if you've hit each target. So if you've ticked each one of these in your answer, if you've done that, and if you've done that, and if you've done that, and if you've done that, just tick them off, that'd be good. And then what you want you to write is a WWW and an EBI. You've probably done those in class. So WWW is what went well. Okay, so what was good about your answer. And EBI, what would make your answer better. So EBI is even better if. Okay, so a little bit of self-assessment, critiquing your own work, what was really good about it and what could be better. Okay, so just fill those out in a different colour for me. So write WWW and then type it out for me if you're doing it on Word and PowerPoint, or if you're doing it on paper, just a different colour pen if you've got one, or pencil's fine as well if you don't have a different coloured pen. Okay, so moving on. So task 4 continued, a little bit more to do on this one. So there's a sample answer there, which is the one we read through anyway. Okay, I want you to just compare that back to your own answer, and can you add anything to your answer from there? So you did your WWW and your EBI. If there's anything you missed out from that sample answer, or anything that you could have added into your answer from that, please do add that in now. Again, in a different colour if you can, just add in any points that you might have missed. Okay, so pause me here and start that one. Okay, and moving on. Now I've got a series of slightly shorter tasks. So task 5, what will happen if Gerry, lovely Gerry here in his hosepipe, what would happen if he was to continue to spray the lawn with water like this? If he was just going to keep doing it, like if it wasn't going to stop at all, if he was going to keep doing it for hours and hours and hours until the water ran out, what would happen to that lawn? What would happen in general if that kept happening? So again, that's just kind of a thought. I want you to think about it and give me a sentence or two on what you think might happen if Gerry was to continue doing that. So pause me here and just write a sentence or two for task 5. Okay, moving on. Task 6, suggest what might happen during periods of heavy rainfall. Okay, so you might know what happens during periods of heavy rainfall. It's not like we haven't ever had heavy rainfall in Oxfordshire. It's quite common, unfortunately. So think about what happens when we get a lot of rain all at once. What happens? What happens to the ground? What happens to the fields? What happens to places where there might be a lot of natural environment, and what happens in places where there might not be a lot of natural environment, so towns and cities, what happens there? So think about those things. I want you to write at least 2 full sentences for this. If you can write more, please do. I want to hear all your thoughts. If you write 3, that would be a brilliant sentence, okay? And if you write any more than that and you explain why they will happen, you will get extra house points for doing that as well. Okay, so I want you to write as much as you can for task 6 and just think about all the things that might happen during a period of heavy rainfall. Okay, so pause me here and start that one. And moving on. Task 7, again, another short one. In short, it's going to flood, isn't it? When we get a lot of heavy rainfall, this is the kind of thing we see all over the place. So lots of flooded fields, lots of flooded roads and streets and things like that. But why do you think that is? Why does flooding happen? Why doesn't that water flow away like it does in normal spells of rain? Okay, let me know what you think and let me know why that happens. Okay, again, a sentence or 2 for task 7 on why you think it's going to flood instead of just flowing away like a normal rain shower. Okay, so pause me here and do task 7. Okay, moving on. Finally, okay, we've got a little bit of a plenary, a little bit of a wrapping up exercise where I want you to show me what you've learned this lesson. So it's called a 3-2-1. So I want you to write 3 sentences summarising today's learning. So 3 things you've learned this lesson. Reduce that to 2 diagrams or 2 pictures for me. Again, if you're using Word or PowerPoint, you can just get images from Google, that's fine by me. And then finally to 1 word. Okay, so 3 sentences to summarise, 2 pictures to summarise, and then 1 word to summarise what you've learned this lesson. Okay, and do that for the last task for me. There is one more little challenge at the end I will show you, but pause me here, complete this, and then I'll just explain to you what the last challenge is. Okay, very last task for anyone who wants to give it a go. Okay, you don't necessarily have to, but you will get lots of house points if you do. There's a bit of a challenge question. Okay, so explain why rain does not sink right down to the centre of the earth. Why do you think that is? Okay, this one's going to Mrs Shipman. Okay, so this is Mrs Shipman's challenge for this week. As long as she agrees it's a good answer, you will get lots of house points for that. Okay, so the rest of the work sent to me, Miss Withers, but for this task, either do it on a different piece of paper or a different Word document and send it to Mrs Shipman, and she will have a look at that one for you. Okay, and that is this week's lesson. Okay, I hope you